Welcome to the Random Encounter Show. I'm Deathstalker 5 coming in for an episode of Table Talk. If you're new around here, number one, we're unscripted, no teleprompters. I've barely even thought about what we'll talk about today, and that will become readily apparent. Number two, have something to drink. You're sitting at the table here in the game room with me as we have our discussion. This episode I'm drinking another Spriker, the grape soda. There, you can have a bottle cap for your collection. Yeah. Number three, buckle in. Yeah, we're covering everything from fantasy novels to dice to solo RPGs to solo RPG adventure modules for monsters, tunnels, and trolls, and whatever else comes to mind. This is what this show's about. I love sharing my hobbies, mostly centered around tabletop gaming as a solo player. RPGs, board games, war games, etc. And I'm open to group play as well, and we may see some of that soon. Also, my hobby of dealing with 70s and 80s era computers, mostly 8-bit gaming computers. You guys have been seeing the proliferation of my live streams, I'm sure. So yeah, if you're into any of that kind of stuff, I have great news for you. We have a beautiful, vibrant community surrounding the show. Check below, Facebook page, Facebook group, Discord, etc. You'll find all those links in the description of the video and on our About page. If you're not into any of those things and you continue to hang out around here, I guarantee you that you will find some things to get into. Everybody needs some hobbies. Everybody needs some fun in their life. Yeah, it seems like that's something a lot of people are missing lately. Have some fun. Have some fun by yourself. We're not going to judge you. Yeah. Before we dive into all this material and stuff, I wanted to give a little community update. Our holiday annual special is right around the corner. If you want to get your videos in, cards, letters, packages, whatever it is that you want to do, have them in soon. Yeah, I'm going to call December 20th as our soft deadline, because it's if you don't know about the holiday specials, go check them out on our channel. Yeah, we have a few. They're episodes where I take the back seat mostly and allow the community to come in with their submissions and their holiday greetings, their fun videos, their fun presents and gifts and all kind of stuff. And it's my favorite episode of the year because the community, who are you guys, the true stars of the show, you guys get to take the front seat and drive. Yeah, I'm just a passenger for that episode. It scares the hell out of me. But it's every time, it's so much fun. Yeah, I talk about it all year long. Literally, it's one of the big highlights of my life every year. Yeah, welcome to my world, my child. So yeah, December 20th. I'm hoping everybody around spreads the word. I can't wait to see what you guys send in. One of my favorite things are the crazy video submissions. We get stuff from all over the world. And yeah, I'm just so much looking forward to the holiday special this year. So get those videos in for sure. If you need help, contact me. Go to our About page. You'll find my email for the show here. You can hit me on Discord. You can hit me on Facebook. You can hit me on my cell phone, text message, whatever. I'm not so much of a private person. Anyway, you guys finally ready to dig in to some gaming goodness and such? Let me get a sip here. What are we going to talk about first? We're going to cover this first. This was sent in before Halloween by my good friend Mike over at the Solitary RPG channel. Go check it out. Yeah, I love that we have several other YouTubers involved with our community. Yeah, we don't network enough. We need to network more. But yeah, it's just, you'll find, I promise you, keep talking about this community. I can't shut up about it. You'll find all kind of great things in this community. I promise you. Come on, subscribe, join in, do all that kind of stuff. I don't know what else to tell you. But he sent this in, and I was going to talk about it for our Halloween special. Did Deathstalker 5 get carried away telling stories again? Yes, just like every single episode. And he left this over here in his dice box and didn't even get to it. So we're getting to it now. I believe this came out, and this is from Wizards of the Coast, but I believe it came out during the 3rd edition era. It's a beautiful little cloth dice bag. I love the colors, the orange and black. Got a nice beholder. I say 3rd edition because that's when they primarily used that dragon and sign. Yeah? So let's see what he packed full here with this dice bag. Or packed this dice bag full of, I should say. Up top, we have something called the Dyadic D20, a double D10 set. Yeah? This is an interesting little thing here. Here's the other side. We're going to pull the stuff out. Mike, I talked to Mike on the phone when he sent this over, and he said he's also a big fan of the 20-sided D10s. Yeah? I've talked about them before in a few episodes. I have quite a few over here in my dice box. The fact of it is I play primarily a lot of older RPGs. And while they're not necessary, I love having the old style D10s that are actually 20-sided dice. Yeah? What that means is 1 through 0 are repeated. Yeah. Let's let you take a look here, if the camera will focus. As you can see, some of the numbers here are solid. Some of them are outlined. Yeah? On my dice, we might as well just pull one out here to show you. Same principle. Same principle. Where's the D20 at? Or D10? Yeah. Let's get one. Let's not get a dark red one. Let's get one that shows up on camera. Hang on, guys. Technical difficulty in the show. I've got too many dice. There's a black one. That'll show up real nice on the camera. I thought I had a yellow one. There's a yellow one. That'll show up better on the camera. For the ones I have, and I've had to, with these old dice, of course, I've hand painted or inked the numbers in. And you can see one set of numbers is in red, one set of numbers in black. Why do I do that? Because you can still use these as D20s or 20-sided dice, as well as D10s. And that's exactly what they've done with these. What that means is your solid numbers, I believe here, for their system. Let me pull this out so I don't misspeak with these dyadic dice. Yeah, the outline numbers are 1 through 10. Are your solid... No, outline numbers are 1 through 10, and your solid numbers are 11 through 20. And they give you a little explanation here of how to read the dice and how they can be used. Of course, they can be used as D20s or D10s. They can be used as D2s. They can be used as percentile dice, etc. Nice little set. But like I was saying with older RPGs, it just, I don't know why, but just using the older dice feels more correct for them. Makes it more flavorful for me. Yeah? It's all about what you do at the table. Do it your way. Do it to how it makes you feel good. Yeah? Puts you in your element for some gaming. Yeah. I was seeing here on the back of the card that these were a set that came out. We got number 10 of 400. So this was a limited edition little thing. But the dice aren't the only thing they offered. They offered this very cool sticker. I love it. This got sort of a holographic foil effect. Yeah, looks neat, doesn't it? And this is from Tower House Creative. I'm not sure when these were actually released. I don't know if there's I haven't seen a date on them. 2023. And the last thing in the little baggie I thought was a nice little flavorful touch is that, you know, there's a little storyline that goes along with the dyadic dice. is that they come from they were used as from a dark cult. And you get a letter that comes from, looks like it's typed on a typewriter, and it comes from a lead investigator. Yeah, something reminiscent of Call of Cthulhu or Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes or something. Yeah, absolutely lovely. So fun little dice, D20 or 20-sided D10 dice. Fun little set there. Always a welcome addition to my collection. Let's get these things packaged back up. We don't want to lose nothing. Get some chaos organized over here. We've got a table full. What else do we have in here? Well, I believe this would be the dice set that came with the dice bag. Again, another little Ziploc baggie of dice. I just want to pull one out. We'll pull the D20. These dice are very pretty. They're all matching with silver numbers, but they have sort of a crystal look. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to get it close to the camera, but I'm not sure. Let me see. We should probably have those on anyway, yeah? Our overhead lights. I'm not sure if the camera will actually pick up the effect, but it's full of like foil and glitter. And it all has this almost like prism of cool greens and purples and blues that come off of them, much like that holographic foil on the sticker here. Yeah, but just a very cool looking dice set. I'm just gonna do it sort of slow, spin it. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up that effect. Yeah, the human eye is so much more complicated than cameras ever will be. But yeah, I don't know. I've got several people, Mike, John, the Dice Master Stope, friends of mine in the gaming community and such. You guys are dice goblins, and you're trying your best to turn me into a dice goblin. Now, I've got a big box of dice over here. I've got several bowls of dice above me. That's when I have friends over and stuff that show up without their dice sets. I actually mostly the people that show up are people that I introduce to the hobby. And they show some interest in it or whatever, and we dig them out a dice set. Here you go. You're ready to rock and roll. Here's a rule book. Let's play. But yeah, I have my dice, but I wouldn't consider myself a dice goblin. I don't have to have every new set of dice that I see, really fancy dice, etc. Yeah, but they are quickly, I got a few people in my life that are quickly trying to turn me into a dice goblin. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know one thing, that a lot of addictive substances come in little Ziploc bags. So do with that as you will. Up next, we got something else in the bag here. Let me take it out of it's sealed. Oh my goodness, Deathstalker 5's taking the seal off some kind of collectible or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually a coin, like a brass coin. Very useful for your tabletop gaming, at least for me. On one side, we have a D20 with a hand that says portent. On the other side, I guess the tail side, we have the old D&D and symbol, dragon symbol. Yeah, very nice, heavy coin. Heavy coin. It is a little bit sticky though. I'm thinking maybe something off this plastic wrapper, or possibly like a clear coat that was put on it to stop it from corroding with oils on your hands and such. I don't know. Yeah, but a very cool coin. Looks like something straight out of the D&D universe. Why are coins useful, you might ask? Well, for me, I might need something as simple as a yes or no answer, sort of just a real quick oracle. In fact, here's a coin my wife gifted me that I mostly use here at the table. On the tail side, it is I guess it's supposed to be an American silver dollar. Somebody like Steve Crompton will know. Yeah? Nice coin. On the other side, we have a scene of a knight and a lady. Yeah, really cool, nice heavy coin. For some reason, I end up with a lot of gaming coins. Yeah, my favorite are probably the coin set that we were gifted on our first holiday special from the wife the coinage of Troll World that came with Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls Kickstarter. Yeah, big thanks to Steve Crompton for helping her find that stuff. It wasn't easy. But yeah, I might need a simple heads or tails, yes or no answer. I might need to know, just simplified answers. You can use a die for that kind of stuff. A coin just gives it more flavor. A coin is just something extra to have fun with at the table. Again, back to what we were saying. Have fun at the table. Yeah? So you don't often see coins included with dice sets. That's a nice touch. So we have to give a big shout out and thank you to Mike over at Solitary RPG. Such a great member of our community, always supporting things. He's over in the Rogues Gallery, our paid membership club for the show. You can find that on the channel page as well. And yeah, people supporting the show and helping the show out means a ton to me, especially as I'm doing my best to go full-time here on YouTube. Sort of a scary thing for me, but sometimes some things just have to be done, or at least attempted. Yeah? So, again, big thank you to Mike. What do we want to do next? The fantasy novels? Oh boy. I'm going to try to make novels part of our show as we go along here and there, because I have a love of books. I have a love of reading. It's a massive part of my life. Guys, if I took you out to my office, this built out back, this basically my library, you guys might, I don't know what you do. I think I have some, I think I still have, I've been selling stuff off, but I think I still have somewhere over 8,000 individual books in my collection outside, not counting inside where I have books stuck everywhere. Yeah, I'm a book freak. PDFs and all that kind of stuff, if you enjoy them, that's fine. Me, I like physical books. Anyway, for my birthday this year, I had a surprise gift in the mail from another big contributor to the Random Encounter show, another member of our Rogues Gallery, Steve Priest. He sent these over. The trilogy is called the Book of Words Trilogy. Starts off with The Baker Boys by J.V. Jones. Yeah? Featuring cover art from one of my favorite fantasy artists that basically gets no recognition in the gaming community. I guess because only a few gaming books has ever had his art covers on them. But Daryl Sweet. Look him up. Google Daryl Sweet art. Yeah? He's one of my favorite fantasy artists of all time. I look at his Lord of the Rings work. Yeah? That and the Brothers Hildebrandt. Love them too. Yeah. What am I going to say about these novels? The first thing I will tell you is that once I tucked into them and I started reading, I could not stop. Yeah? I always like to before bed, I'll lay down and say, I'll read a chapter or two before I go to sleep. I found myself, even though I rarely sleep, when I do lay down to sleep, I would find myself not willing to give up reading the story for hours sometimes. Yeah? This trilogy grabbed me. It's a masterwork. It's literally a masterwork. J.V. Jones, this was written in 1995. There's a little biography in the back with her, and she shares her love for computer gaming and such things. Sounds like the perfect author for such novels such as these. I will say up front that women in her novels often get the short end of the stick. Yeah? They're not treated well in her world. As you open up the first book or the first few pages of the first book, The Baker's Boy, of this trilogy, you're treated to one of the roughest scenes in the whole series. A very violent act against a woman. I can't even say what it is. YouTube does not allow that word to be thrown around so much. But yeah, once you get past that, you're in for one heck of a ride. Was that scene even needed? I don't know, but it definitely set the tone for some of the characters here. When it comes to the narrative, she took an approach that most authors don't take, where most authors have their narrative strings or the plot go between events and are event focused. She took the opposite route. She took the opposite route, I should say, where instead of strings of events between events, this is very character focused. So the characters are the main plot. Yeah? The way it's written at each chapter, you're going to get the part of the story from five or six main characters, and it's that way throughout the entire book. With their travels and their intrigue and the mystery and their plotting and all this kind of stuff. And the events of the book are driven by those character motives. Yeah? I can tell she is a gamer. Yeah, just by the way she wrote this book. And with the characters, they're all very distinct. And I didn't find anything. Sometimes this attempt, or this approach has been attempted, and they had just too many characters or something going on where it got a little bit confusing as to what's actually happening in the books, in the story. She was a master at this. She is a master. I don't know her, but she is from just her writing. She's just a master at this. And I found myself with these characters. You know, it's very much an intrigue, mystery, quest type classic fantasy. You're not going to have elves, dwarves, orcs, and goblins in here. This is a humanistic story. And I found myself, as I went through the books, at times loving characters and absolutely loathing characters. Yeah? But in the end, when all threads between all these characters and the events of the world came together, the characters end up being very human. Yeah? You just see them as humans. I love books that make you see the world around you as well in different ways. This is definitely one of those trilogies. I really enjoyed it. For the characters that have an inclination toward evilness or insanity, if you will. She wrote them so realistically. It really, when authors are so realistic in their bad characters or insane characters and such, it makes me wonder about the authors, to be honest. But yeah, I love books that just hit you with something different to think about, something relatable, because at the end of days, we're all just humans too. Some of the choices that we make might be questionable. Some of the things that we thought were the right thing to do may have been the wrong thing to do. Sometimes we strive to do the right thing. Sometimes we have to do the right thing by doing a wrong thing. Yeah, morality. The philosophy of morality. I like books that make you think about that. Ponder on that. Look and reflect on your own life and others around you in that kind of way. Like I said, the book has a few rough spots. Yeah, that's a given. So I gave you a warning if you're sensitive to those type of things. But, you guys, I love books. I don't often come on here with book recommendations. These books escape me somehow. So a big shout out and thank you to Steve Priest for sending these over for the birthday gift. These were right up my alley. And it was just territory uncharted, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, talking about this community, there's so many people that I've became very good friends with, and it just shows because we know one another so well that we can actually make book recommendations and such to each other. That's a rarity. That's a rarity because books are so personal, so subjective. Yeah, I like them. I love them actually. I'm actually gonna go and see what else she's done. Yeah, cause that was fantastic. Big shout out to Steve over in the UK. Let's get back into some gaming stuff. We have from Zozier Games, Vampire Hunter. Solo horror role-playing. Yeah, by Paul Elliott, a good friend of the show, member of our community, etc. You guys know I love Zoser games. This was something I picked up for myself on the last holiday special. Yeah, and for the last few months, I've been playing the heck out of this game. Number one thing I will say about this before we even begin is that for such a small book, basically 50 pages, this thing packs a powerful punch. Yeah? That's the one thing you'll need to know. Obviously, you're hunting vampires here. It's set in 19th century Bavaria. Yeah? And the tone of the game is very much set upon things like the Hammer House of Horror. For those in the UK, you'll know that series. But also just like classic horror movies. Yeah? I absolutely love it. You may not, when I say classic monster movies or horror movies, you might not want to go this route. Yeah, but that could be fun as well. But more so the Hammer House of Horror, the classic Universal monster movies, etc. That's sort of the tone of the book. So the Vampire Hunter. One thing I was sort of apprehensive about is this is not a dice-driven RPG. Yeah? I love my dice. I don't want to give up my dice. So I wasn't sure about this. It's actually on a system Paul Elliott has named the Card Shark. What does that mean? That means a standard deck of playing cards is what you're going to use for the mechanics of the game. And I'll tell you right now that I'm highly impressed by the Card Shark system. Yeah? We'll get into that in a second. What else are we offered here? It's an abstract game, obviously, from its size. It's a full game. You're getting your rules, you're getting your campaign, you're getting your solo tools, you're getting everything you're going to basically need for the game down to an oracle system and such. So just keep in mind, it's going to be abstract. It's not a heavily detailed solo RPG book. But with that being said, he really did. Powerful punch, as we said. He packed this game, or his book, and filled this book with a lot of stuff we're not used to for the more abstract, minimalist side of tabletop RPGs. One thing we got is we got a very nice introduction. So even if you're brand new to the idea of RPG games or playing them solo, he's going to give you enough information to get you started. And he does a really good job at explaining the procedures used for this game in particular. Of course, you're going to get your character creation. Yeah? You've got 3 stats in here. That's it. Your grits, your wit, and your hits. Yeah? Your character is going to have an occupation that gives him some specialty somewhere. That'll come in when you have modifiers later. Bonuses or minuses to the mechanics of the game. Even from character creation, though, he's packed it full of solo tools. Just like we can see here, we have a name generator, we have an occupation generator, etc. So if you don't have something in mind, I want to say roll up a random character. Instead, I have to say you will draw up a random character. Like I said, the card system was something new for me. But I will say that the character generation, random character generation, for those that are veterans to solo tabletop gaming, you already know. Those that may be new or you haven't thought of this, these tables serve as great ways to generate other characters, aka non-player characters, in your game and give them some flesh on their bones, so to speak. Give them a name, an occupation, etc., stats, whatever. Going through, though, it's just you'll have table after table with good explanations all throughout the entire book. One thing that's a big part of that powerful punch is the setting itself, Bavaria. My camera's beeping. Can you guys hear that? I hope not. I don't know what's going on here. Please don't fail me now. But with the Bavarian setting, he's really fleshed it out. That's something we're not used to in these small form games. You get a full explanation, a decent history of 19th century Bavaria, along with some of the political situations of its borders. Yeah? So it's going to talk about the forest, the cities and towns, village life, castles, etc. Places where your character, the locations where your character will probably be investigating and eventually, hopefully, successfully hunting down a vampire and his cohorts. Yeah? We get, he does a good explanation on the atmosphere of horror. I'm going to chime in a few things in a minute on that. We get a map of Bavaria with the cities and such detailed on it, along with mountains and different things like that. We get an explanation of the undead, the nature of the undead, some notes on how they can be found, etc. Like I said, we get tons and tons and tons of the solo tables. Pretty much everything you're going to need to run this game. Well, I can say that just to run the game as it's written, I found everything I needed. From vampiric motivations to events and locations, etc. Yeah? Good stuff all the way around. Yeah, I'm looking at my camera screen. I don't know what it's doing. I don't see anything wrong. I don't know why it's beeping. I'm spooked, guys. We've had several episodes I filmed lately where the camera just randomly cut out on us and I had to refilm the whole thing. But back to it. What do I have to say about this game? Number one, the card system. I know a lot of you have seen other card systems. With this one, it's not just, the face value of the card. Ace through 10, Jack, Queen, King, etc. Instead, there's many different ways to utilize cards in this game. Everything from, of course, the number values on the cards to the suits of cards to the colors of the suits of cards. Yeah, you're going to find all those utilized throughout the mechanics of the game, from character creation to generating material, details for your game, to combat, investigations, etc. Yeah? And while I'm at it, Kent Maddox sent over this deck of cards in the last holiday special. And I said, is that a coincidence that these two match up so well? Yeah? What is it called? It's the Bicycle Tragic Royalty Playing Cards. Yeah? I thought the matchup was made in heaven for this game. But regardless, about the game itself, about my experiences with the game. Number one, you guys have heard me say it over and over and over. I'm more of a simulation style gamer when it comes to solo gaming. Not necessarily group gaming. I like something a little more abstract for group gaming. But for solo gaming, I'm more into the very detailed simulation style RPGs, whether it be Rollmaster, Harp, Imagine, RuneQuest, etc. Now I have RPGs that cover the gamut of the spectrum. We talked about that in my video of how to choose an RPG, yeah? Let me fan away a dust bunny that just picked up. But yeah, I have my main RPGs for solo play. They're pretty much very heavy in detail. I enjoy the heavy detail for RPG. Why would I want an abstract system like this? Well, number one is the theme of the game. Yeah, 19th century Bavarian vampire hunting. I'm in. Get the stakes out. Get the garlic out. Get the silver crucifixes out. Get the holy water out. Yeah? Simon Belmont, watch out. We're in. We're vampire hunting. Theme of the game was number one. This is not a game I would typically make in main RPG. I'm more of a fantasy science fiction nerd. Yeah, but it's always fun to have these little excursions into other territory. Number two, this game's came in quite handy here lately. You guys, we've been building a studio We've been working with new software. We're building new formats for the show. We're doing all kind of stuff with the members and stuff now. It's been insanity. Plus the rest of life that happens. Yeah? This game, I can sit down. I can give it an hour. I can give it an hour and a half. I can give it 45 minutes. It's quick to play. It's easy to play. It moves along at a brisk pace. So when you have times in your life where you don't want to sit down and dedicate 12 hours to your solo game, 6 hours, 3 hours, whatever it may be. You want something that, hey, you've got an hour of time. You want to get some gaming in. This kind of game, especially this one is specifically, fits that bill. Yeah? I really enjoy the game. I can't say that enough. I really enjoyed the game over the last several months. I know I've played at least 6 sessions of this game. Some of them were much longer. Yeah? Why is that? Because like any hobby gamer, sometimes I want to add more detail to what I'm working with. So one of the books I was using was the Dread Thingonomicon. Yeah? Another gift from Solitary RPG, Holiday Special. This whole episode's about the Holiday Special, isn't it? Subconsciously. I don't know. Everything's just coming together, I guess. But yeah, this is a massive tome. It's just full of tables and things to use for game masters to get ideas, etc. But a mine of information for solo gamers. Yeah, we love our tables. So yeah, several of the sessions I really expanded upon by using not just this, but many of my other solo tools to add in more details and such to my game. Yeah? Is that necessary? No. With this game, it's abstract nature. I think a lot of people, especially just starting out solo RPGs, have an issue with is that you may just get a scant handful of what we'll call clues or details to throw at your game. Yeah? What you have to do is take the context of the game you're having on the table, of what's transpired, what's happening, what's just been going on in the game, and you take those clues. Just take a second, put them in your mind, see how they correlate with one another, see how they come together, see what strings bring these together, and normally you will get a very coherent picture straight from your imagination to move your game story forward. Yeah? For example, let's say that I'm at a village or a town or something, and I draw up a barn, or roll up, whatever game you're playing. I get some details: a barn, a fire, and an investigator. Yeah, those 3 on their own are meaningless, but if I pull them into my mind, I can think of many different scenarios with those 3 key words. Did the barn catch on fire and the investigator came because it appears to be an arson? Did the investigator start the fire and burn down the barn? Did the investigator get set on fire in the barn? I could move that. Maybe the investigator saw a fire coming to the barn and he's trying to put it out. It's just, you take those things, but put them in relation to the reason and logic that your game has provided beforehand, and they will come together for your story. They'll make sense for you. Yeah? Every once in a while, you may want more detailed and have things like the Dread Thingonomicon, for example, or all kinds of various solo tools I have over here to throw extra details in there or expand the games beyond the parameters of what's given in the book. That's fine too. I'm a fan of both. But with these abstract games, I really enjoy the mental gymnastics, if you will. Getting the clues, getting the keywords together, getting the events or whatever it is, looking at my main frame of my story and seeing how that just comes together almost like a movie in my mind. Theater of the mind's so important, especially for abstract gaming, but for all of role-playing game. All role-playing games, I should say. If you're not in your mind, you're not imagining it, you're not in the first person, you're not seeing it like a movie that you're a character living in, you're missing out on a lot of the fun. Yeah, I see so many people that have relegated solo RPGing to basically board games on the table. You're not getting the fullness of the experience there. Yeah, I love things, just like those novels, I love things that force me to think differently. An abstract solo RPG definitely will. Now, some tips about the game is that early on in the book, you'll get quite a few pages dedicated to creating your main villain and his cohorts. Yeah, in this game, the vampires normally have some thralls, if you will, but some humans that the vampire has turned into basically vampiric slaves to himself. Yeah, that's a classic trope back to, like Dracula and such, with the women and such of his castle. They were vampires that he had turned and they served him. Also, many vampires will have a group of non-vampiric humans associated with them, and the humans may know that he or she is a vampire, or they may be totally unaware. It may be something like a lodge, or a guild, or a cult, or some kind of community that the vampire creates, a secret society or something, around so that the humans can serve the vampire and its cohorts' needs within the game world. Yeah? When it comes to building your vampire, here's my advice. Do not build them first. Don't even touch your vampire first. Start your character off in its location in the game world, and start drawing and putting together the events, locations, and NPCs and such, and getting clues that there's a vampire around. Somehow, some way, there's a vampire around. Let them start investigating it. As they investigate it, the clues that they find to be true, whether it be rumors, it be physical evidence, etc., the stuff that they find is true, let that build your vampire. Yeah? So, case in point, the vampires in this book, they could have several different weaknesses. Yeah? You don't want to know what the weaknesses to your vampire are. You want to try to guess from the clues you receive. Such as, you have an attack, let's say, in the village. We'll go back to that burning barn investigator thing. We have an attack in the village. Somebody, the barn was burned to cover up the bodies of some people that were killed or something. Yeah? The investigator comes to investigate it. They find a body that's not burned up, got 2 holes in the neck, no blood in the body. Yeah, vampire on the loose. Yeah? Bella Lugosi on the loose. Yeah? But from that little scene, your character may talk to the investigator. It may be the investigator. It may be working with the investigator. However it comes to know about this scene. You might think, well, hey, the vampire, maybe it had a fear of fire. Maybe that's a weakness to the vampire. Why? Because we're going to put together our game a little bit more. The attack was ongoing, and it was like the fire broke out during the attack from the vampire. A lamp was knocked over, an oil lamp, a candle was knocked into the haystack. Something. Yeah? And the vampire didn't finish the job and it fled. That would give you a clue to its weakness, that it doesn't like fire. Maybe all the attacks happen and they're never around water. Or they're never around a church. Or there's all kind of clues you can pick up to start building the picture of who your vampire actually is. What are its weaknesses? Who it is. Yeah? That's the whole point of not knowing before you start a lot of information about the game beforehand. Yeah? That this is a horror game. Where's the horror going to come through? It's not going to come through if you know Ed Schleidner, the town baker, is the vampire. His weaknesses is garlic and holy water. And he kills 3 people a night. And these are his cohorts, the Baker's Guild or whatever. There's no horror in that. There's not a whole lot of fun in that. Yeah, the horror comes from the mystery. Yeah, if you don't know you don't know who or what your vampire is before you start, you don't know in your setting, in your town, in your village, in the woods, whoever, the people around your character, the NPCs, Any of them could be the vampire. Yeah, any of them could. So you can't really trust a whole lot of people when you're hunting vampires. Of course, a smart vampire is going to probably pick up that somebody's on his or her trail. He's going to send some of his cohorts to pay visits. Maybe it's to manipulate the character away. Maybe it's to, suck some blood. I don't know. But regardless, the vampire's not going to appreciate being hunted. Again, that's where the mystery, the horror comes in. Not knowing who to trust, not knowing who the vampire is, not knowing what the vampire is, when it's going to strike next, how it's going to strike, where it's going to strike. Build the horror into your game. Build your game as you go along. Yeah? So, yeah, just a fantastic game. One of my expanded games really got me thinking, yeah? I said, if I was a vampire in the 19th century, or even early 20th century, where would be one of the best places to set up operations? And it came to me, a mental institution. Yeah, think about it. The vampire could be the director, a doctor, an orderly, whatever in the mental institution. Back in the day, they just locked people up and said they were crazy and basically treated them worse than most prisoners get treated. Yeah, they just locked away to keep them away from society. So, a vampire in there sucking people's blood is not really going to go noticed. If people start saying, hey, there's a vampire in here sucking our blood, yeah, that fits the motif that this is why you're in an insane asylum. You're crazy. Yeah, think about it. Think about it. But yeah. Vampire comes highly recommended. I'll put a link in the description below, our affiliate link. Make sure to use those affiliate links to help the show out wherever you can. Doesn't cost you an extra dime. And I use the drive-through RPG funds to supply new materials and such for the show. So I will put a link down for the PDF on drive-through and also Zozer's Games main link where you can find the printed books, etc. from there. Yeah? Whew. Let me get something to drink. I'm thirsty after talking about vampires. Dun dun dun! We can move these as well. Because we got something to talk about that we haven't talked about in a while. Tunnels and trolls! Tunnels and trolls! Also, monsters! Let me pull down a copy. My good friend Steve Crompton, Ken St. Andre, Liz Danforth, that whole crew. Tunnels and Trolls, Monsters, the continuation of their Tunnels and Trolls games. We got a little solo module sent over by D. Martin Mullen called Wizard Wanted, No Experience Required, Unpaid Internship. Yeah? Mr. Mullen sent this over to the show in September. He contacted me and said, hey, would you like a copy of this to check out? He didn't put any requirements whatsoever on that I'm going to make a video of it, I'm going to review it, or what I'm going to say about it. We don't play that around here. We keep it real. We keep it real around here. So yeah, I said I'll be more than happy. Am I going to turn down a solo adventure for Tunnels and Trolls or Monsters, a new one? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we sent this over in September. I've gave it a few playthroughs. I'll tell you why in a second. But just as a synopsis, it says, after years of study, now you're a wizard. Your family is here for your graduation ceremony, even your annoying uncle who insists the real lessons are not learned in college. Well, we all have one of those uncles, don't we? I'm probably one of those uncles. Yeah, even though I don't have no siblings, Uncle Deathstalker 5, he'll tell you that good advice, especially nowadays with these paper mill universities. Hey! Anyway, what it is, you're an apprentice wizard. Your head professor loses his wizarding hat. And it's up to you to go find it. And this is written from Monsters, of course. But also works with Tunnels and Trolls. Yeah? They're the same. They're basically the same game. I've said this before. A few of the mechanics have changed. Like reading 1s instead of 6s for spike damage. If you're going to use Tunnels and Trolls or Monsters for any of the solo modules produced for either one, you're going to easily be able to use either rule set. The reason we talk about Monsters a lot is because Tunnels and Trolls was sold off. It went out of print. Rebellion's doing the new version of Tunnels and Trolls. I think everyone's sort of holding their breath. They don't know what to expect. It's definitely going to be different than the Tunnels and Trolls of yore. I'm a big fan of Tunnels and Trolls of yore. Yeah? So, yeah, you can use any edition of Tunnels and Trolls. I have the deluxe, my favorite edition, sitting here. You could use a 5, 5.5, etc. You can use Monsters 2.0, 2.5, 2.7. You know, who knows where they're at with that now. You can easily use any of those rule sets to run this. In fact, this rule set actually, at the end, comes with enough rules for you to start playing immediately. Yeah, can't beat it. Great product. I love the fact that everybody associated with Flying Buffalo Incorporated, they started putting mini rules in a lot of the deluxe solo modules. You know, that's what Tunnels and Trolls is famous for, is the solo modules. So they would put mini rules in there, and I'm glad to see that Mr. Mullen has continued that tradition here. So even if you don't have a full rule book for Tunnels and Trolls or Monsters, you'll still be able to use the summary of rules here to navigate through this solo adventure. Yeah? When it comes to this solo adventure, I'm not going to tell you a whole lot of details. Why? Because just like the other solo adventures for Tunnels and Trolls and such, it's on the choose your own adventure style deal with numbered and lettered paragraphs. So you'll start off and you'll get to a place where if you do this, turn to paragraph 39. But if instead you do this, you go this way, turn to paragraph 47. Yeah, and they're interlinked throughout the book. So most of you, if you've played Fighting Fantasy, if you read the Choose Your Own Adventure books of Fabled Lands, solo adventures for Tunnels and Trolls, etc., you already know what I'm talking about. It will become self-apparent as soon as you open the book. But with the adventure itself, it's something very different than what's came out before it. Now, all Tunnels and Trolls stuff sort of have a bit of gonzo-ness, a little tongue-in-cheek humor and such. This one really pushes it to the forefront. Yeah, it's very zany. It's very comical. Your adventure of trying to retrieve this, the professor's hat. It's going to take you all over the place and get you involved in all kind of crazy scenarios. So yeah, definitely comical. You know, fun. A lot of fun. Not everything has to be super serious. Yeah? That's what I said. Not everything has to be super serious. You don't like that with your serious self? You can come over here to the Fortress of Doom and meet me in the front yard. What else can I tell you? I'm just joking, guys. But why did I choose Tunnels and Trolls versus using Monsters for the rule set? Mainly because it's a human character that is a wizard. That's another rarity when it comes to solo adventures for Tunnels and Trolls. Most all of them want you to be something that can participate in melee combat. The books that have magic in them are oftentimes reliant upon a magic matrix for the solo adventure. We're provided with one here. We're also provided with a little bit of extra here. Of course, your list of spells and stuff, but also some random events that happen within the adventure of you looking for your professor's hat. So all the bases are covered here. It's a rarity being an adventure utilizing a magical character or a wizard character. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. The reason I did a few playthroughs of it, because it was so zany and so comical, I replayed it a few times just to see what would happen if I chose differently. It's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it to play through this and see the different outcomes and such. But yeah, absolutely fun romp with back into Tunnels and Trolls Monsters. Yeah. I'll put a link to this as well below so you guys can find that. I know we have a ton of fans coming from the Tunnels and Trolls Monsters universe here. Yeah? So, feels great to talk about it again. Other than that, I think we have everything I wanted to talk about cleared finally. So, yeah. It's getting cold here. I'm loving it. I've got a lot of yard work, like fighting the wisteria vines to get out and do while it's cool and the plants are sort of dead, are dormant anyways. They never die, and whatnot. But be on the lookout. Our live streaming. I'm going to set up a schedule. First of the year, we're going to have some changes around here for our live streaming, but I'm going to set up a schedule that that way you'll know what days of the week I'll be on for live streaming, etc. Right now, we're mainly focused on my hobby of old computer gaming. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying that. When it comes to the computers, I get a lot of questions. We will be covering each of the computers in depth, probably with many episodes, along with game reviews, etc. that aren't live. Yeah? On the other hand, I am building and working on our software and such that maybe quite often, I don't know yet, I haven't made up my mind, I haven't looked at all the contingencies, but outside of our reviews and our deep delves and stuff that are incoming, when we do these weekly, I want them to be weekly table talk episodes, we may do quite a few of them live. Yeah? Because there's no difference in how I shoot them when I'm sitting here at the table and I'm not doing them live. Obviously. Why do I need to tell, people that Weiss is right? Or what did I just say? Rice is white? Okay. Yeah, I don't need to tell you that. You know. But regardless, I think it'll be fun. We can get in. The live chat will be open. You guys, the community, I keep talking about the community. You guys can come in and make fun of me all you want. Yeah, it'll be fun for you. Look at Deathstalker 5. I don't know. Did you see his nose hairs? No, you can get in. You can share your gaming stories. You can have some laughs and such. And then during the episode, we may read out super chats, whatever. Answer questions, whatever. But regardless, any way you want to support the show, if you're able, I understand the world's in a rough spot right now. It is much appreciated by me, whether it's using the affiliate links, subscribing to the Rogues Gallery, on our memberships on the channel page, etc. Like I said, going full time with this is a little bit scary for me, but I'm doing it. We're in. We've built the studio. We've got everything set up. We're in for the long haul now. Whether we go into the sunshine or into the ditch, I don't know. All I know is I'm going to have as much fun as I can. And hopefully you guys do as well as we go along. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time right back here on the Random Encounter Show.
And this has been but one tale from the days of high adventure. You can join Deathstalker 5 on his quest by hitting that subscription button and joining the Random Encounter Army. On the About page of our channel, you can find links to our Facebook and Discord groups so that you can join directly in the fun. And always remember, the best way to support our show is by using our affiliate links and joining our paid channel memberships for more exclusive content here on the Random Encounter Show.